Okay, so this one, I have to admit, I'm a little excited for. And yes, I know what it is for a change. But I don't buy near as much stuff from AliExpress that I used to, because I am currently boycotting them. But as you can tell, it must be a counterfeit. Why? Because it came from AliExpress. So it got to be a counterfeit. So everything, I mean, I don't know what a real Spyderco would appear to be. This might be a copy of like a Para 3, or I don't even want to pretend that I know the different variants of whatever. Box clearly states it was made in Golden, Colorado, and it apparently wasn't. So this is a supposed Spyderco. I don't know how to identify a clone or a counterfeit, but it's currently rigged for tip up, which I hate, and I'll have to re-rig this for tip down like that. I didn't realize these were this big, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not a massive knife, but I mean, it is a pretty good size knife. A lot bigger than I thought it was. If y'all remember the clone, the other Spyderco clone that I've got, which is the only other one I have, it was a very tiny little thing. So I'm going to put it in here, because what I'm going to do is draw it, work it with my left hand, and then I'd be working the release over here. And I kind of like this. This is what drew me to the knife, is the spine lock, but it's not pushed down, it's pushed into the frame like that. So I think the only negative to this knife would be the ability of possibly the scales to hold up. But let's get this swapped over, and then we'll take a better look at the blade. We'll get that blade out there, because somebody's going to holler about it taking too long for me to get the blade open. I made a video one time, and someone said 7 minutes, and the blade is still not out of the knife. And I really didn't realize it. I started running my mouth just talking about the knife, because I think it was probably a cool knife to me. And so I ended up being a little while before I opened it up. And then when I went back and watched the video myself, I was aggravated at myself for taking so long about opening the blade. There's nothing I can do about it. It's an uploaded video. YouTube really does not like it when you delete videos, so I don't delete them. If it's bad enough, whatever, then I will just simply... Oh, I wonder. So that is not... Okay, so that is the aggravation of this. I can't convert it to... I can't convert it to tip down, because the screws, there's apparently no threads. I guess I'd have to really flick that thing. Let's see. I can't do it. So, blade's a little nasty. You can see the little spider symbol. It says Spyderco CPM S30V. Golden, Colorado. symbols and whatnot. So I can't thread it in there because I guess the screws are too thick. So that's one downside. I don't believe a knife from Spyderco would ever come to where you have mounting holes for reversing your tip carry, and you can't do it because they're not threaded. So that's one definite downside. So we'll just put it back on here this way, because this would be a knife that I would carry right-handed. So let's see if it'll screw down, and it does. So it's got some hard edges. It's not really bad, but I mean, you definitely got some edges on the knife. My hand feels crowded between the base and the top up here, because like I said, I've got fat pudgy hands. Now you've got some jimping in here. I'm not really sure for what, but you have it in here, maybe to keep your finger from slipping forward. And then you have some in the back here, which is very nice, catching the head of that that thumb hole, finger hole, whatever you want to call it, hole. So I think you could really, this is the first knife I've seen that gives me comfortable, or feeling comfortable about gripping it like this and potentially not getting cut. So you got jimping there, and you've got jimping up there. So with the knife closed, yeah, see, so that's the only real purpose is, you know, for like this. And Tri-State, there we go, pinch grip. He's, and I better watch out, he might have patented that. So it's got room inside to do the magnet mod if it was something that you wanted to do. I think this has got washers. They're probably not phosphor bronze, and they may be, I don't know. But it's got washers in it. I can see some bronze stuff in there. And so this is made just like a liner lock, only you release it on the top. So it's kind of neat. You can see that recess right there is where your liner will click into and cover. And then you release the blade like that. So it is a liner lock knife, but just a different take on closing. And I'm going to have to see if I can loosen this up, maybe get that close a little better, or I may just kind of work it, flicking it open or something to see what I can do. So you can definitely see some blade play. And I would assume that would be something that you wouldn't see on a real Spyderco. So it is there. I can't really see it, but I can feel some up and down. So this right here, to me, you know, I can see those things, and they're not really that big a deal because it's not loose enough that it bothers me. And so I'm not really concerned about all that. It's an open frame design, large lanyard loophole. I'm just concerned about the handles because I don't think it would carry for an extended period of time. There's some sharp edges on that. Not bad. They are somewhat rounding. You can see that chamfered a small bit, but you can feel them in your hand. I think you would have issues after a long period of time working with this knife. All in all, it looks great. I believe, like I said, I don't know how to tell the difference, but I believe it would probably fool a casual look into thinking it's a real Spyderco. I think it may have stuff all in all the right places. The blade, not really crazy about it. It is a jugger, but I'm not really crazy about that blade. It's just too fat. I've never looked at the Spydercos and said, "Oh, I got to have one." because this big hump right here. And I think that's probably signature for Spyderco, but it just, I don't know. I've just never been excited in seeing that. You know, this right here would be more like the old Buck 110. That's how you opened it. And so this will do that quite well. But it does seem like a pretty big knife. I know I don't sound too enthused or excited about it, but I'm just kind of looking at it at the same time because this is my first time seeing it here. All in all, I like it. I do. Let's see. And as usual, and usually with the Chinese knives, they start out duller and get sharper as they get up towards the end. So this is that wonderful, wonderful, amazing flat grind that I love so much. So they've got they got points with me there for sure. The jimping underneath for the finger and on top for the thumb makes you just feel like you can do whatever you want and you're not going to lose control of that knife. So if the real thing is close to that, I think you would really enjoy a real one. So you can see roughly, you know, as far as in my hand, and as a kind of comparison, here is like pivot to pivot. So the blade is just maybe a quarter longer than the Ozark Trails Bug Out Killer. Overall, if you flush up the butts, it's about 3/4 to a 1/2 inch longer. And so you can see them together in my hand. You can kind of get a perception of how big the knife is. So I'm definitely, I don't know, the more I look at it, the more I like it. But it's just something about the handles. Now, of course, a real Spyderco would definitely not have issues. But it's got weight. It's definitely got weight. And it's not just blade weight. It's handle weight. Yes, I do realize there's liners in here. But that, and it's also inset. The liner is inset on the scales. So I may end up doing a teardown on this. So if I do, you'll see it tagged onto this video. But I may do a teardown to kind of see the inside of the scale and just feel the scales by themselves, because the knife has good weight, and it just feels okay. It feels, I don't want to say premium, but it feels like a premium clone. Let's put it that way, because I've come to realize that you have clones, and you have counterfeits, and you have the real thing, and you have good real things in most cases. Some are overpriced, but in most all cases they're good. And then with counterfeits and clones, it seems like, at least in the counterfeit category, you have like two grades. It's either completely crappy or it's pretty doggone good. And then in the clone category, where something's just kind of looking like something or pretending, then you usually have cheap and very cheap made. And then sometimes you have amazing in those, but it's hit or miss. You have no idea. With these right here, it's like half and half what you're going to come up with. And I've lucked out and got really good ones for the most part. These handles, the only thing that really draws me back is the Benchmade build series. There was one of them that was a PEI handle, and the handle was very brittle, and I ended up cracking the handle, and I've got to redo those. As a matter of fact, here's a little sneak peek. This is the knife. Minus, is the blade in there? think the blade's in there. The whole kit. And then here's some stainless steel side plates that I am working on rebuilding or machining to make new scales. But that's taken a lot of time. It seriously is. I shouldn't have done stainless. It just, stainless is pretty involved in machining. So I think that's my downside on the scales, the handles. I think it's because of the experience with the PEI handles on that one, and that was a clone because it wasn't advertised as being a Benchmade knife, and the packaging, what didn't come in Benchmade packaging and all that kind of stuff. But this right here is 100% counterfeit. There's no way that this could be real. I wouldn't expect Spyderco to have, and there's no way there's going to be a $8, $10, $12 knife from Spyderco. And so there wouldn't be blade play, and this much blade play. It's not too much. I mean, this knife right here is a great letter opener. I think it's a great packer around, fingernail cleaner, trash knife, but it's kind of cool. So I don't think I would use it for that because I like the blade. I think is one of those blades. Yeah, I managed to flick it open. The blade, I think, is one of those blades that it would grow on me, to be honest. And there's just no way I can't do that. And there's several knives that's been like that the blade has grown on me. And so I believe this would be one of them. So with that said, I'm going to quit pestering you with this video and let you wake up and get in bed and go to sleep. Versus sleeping there, sitting at the computer. You're probably drooling all over your phone by now. Sound asleep. So wake up. And I appreciate you being here. Hey. This is going to be my final thoughts. I'm tagging this onto the video because I've kind of had some time to look at this because I believe I didn't do it justice in the actual review. And I say that because it has grown on me. It seriously has. I don't know what a real Spyderco is. I don't know what it would be or like or whatever. But I would think that this is a pretty good clone, replica, counterfeit, or whatever you want to call it. I think I didn't actually give it justice. I seriously didn't. Now, I can just barely flick it out with my thumbs. And that is basically, me kind of working it in, playing it with it, oiling it, and adjusting the pivot screws to get it to this point. And it almost closes. And I believe that with, more fidgeting and playing and everything, that I would get this, to where it was just smooth every which way around. Now, do I think it would hold up to, oh, there we go, malfunction in the junction, and that's me. Do I think it would hold up to everyday constant heavy use? I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on the fence. I don't know because it feels good. It feels solid. It's still, it's still kind of clench. I mean, it's still kind of crowding my hand as far as these humps right here. And so I believe the real thing would, and I would hate to spend several $100s on this knife and hold it and feel crowded like that. And so I'm glad I got the clone because with the option of getting one of these, in which I'd have to look up and see which Spyderco this would be a clone of. But I'm thinking like maybe the Para 3 or it's the big one is all I know. I can't imagine this being the small one. Because much bigger than this, I mean, you got a machete instead of a pocket knife. Kind of like the Buster FG and some of the other knives I've looked at. So another thing that I spoke about was the sharpness of the scales, and they're really not. I mean, I guess I was being critical because that is definitely not any sharp edges at all. You can feel them. I'm telling you, if you have dishpan hands, you're really gonna feel the clip and everything else. You're gonna feel it. But my old gnarly callousy hands, I don't feel a lot of that. But I can run my fingertips, and there's really not sharp edges. There inside, that's good and sharp on the inside of that. But on the outside, it's chamfered off quite well enough. As a matter of fact, as much and more than other name brand knives that I have. So I don't think the handles are bad. And I'd be honest with you, I don't know what this knife would cost. Let me try to look it up, because I think I'm talking out the left side of my mouth, but I think I would buy that knife if I had the opportunity and the money. Well, let's put it this way. If I had the opportunity and the money, I would definitely buy that knife, because even the blade has grown on me. I like the blade now. I like the contours of the blade. I already told you I like the grippiness of the knife. Let's see. Para Para 3. Let me see. So here, if it is a Para 3, which I think it is, because everything kind of that's eBay. No, the handle's definitely different. So let's look up a Para 2 maybe. Come on. I hate my phone. It is so old and clunky. If I ever reply to one of your comments and I'm giving you garbage and gargles, or maybe even some unacceptable language, I think my screen's going out on my phone, and I do most of my message replies and everything on my phone. And I end up with, I'm kind of lost because I type this, but something else entirely comes up. So this is a $200 knife. Come on, close. I hate cookies. I hate the fact that every website wants you to agree to cookies. So this looks more like the knife, the Para 2. So maybe this is a clone of the Para 2. Nothing, it doesn't say anything here, and I don't know enough about knives to look at a knife and gauge, because most of the Spyderco knives look the same, to me anyway. I could be very much wrong, or I am very much wrong. Let me see, is there a Para 1? Yeah, so I think this is a Para 2. I think this is a clone of a Para 2, as best I can tell. And they're around the $200 mark. So, no, I won't buy one. I'd love to. I really would. I would love, if this was a real knife, I'd carry it. If this was a real Spyderco Para 2, I would carry this knife. That would just be the thing. I know they've got one. See, this right here is a liner lock, but they have one that is like a button lock, but it's an internal button lock, and it's operated, by this form and fashion right here. So, I would love to have a Spyderco, a real Spyderco. I think I really would. I wouldn't like to pay for it because it's in the Benchmade category in price. Now in what you actually get with a Spyderco, is it more worth the money? I don't know. You guys have to tell me, because I'm not financially in the class to go buying those knives. Civivi is the greatest thing I ever come across, because they're in the 20 to $100 at the max for really, really great knives. And then they've got the weak, for the high end, they've got weak knives. Those are like 150, and they go into the 200 plus or better range when you get into the exotic metals. But even the Wee knives, you can get their higher end, and those are expensive because you've got high end steel that is used in those knives, titanium Damascus and stuff like that. So that's really expensive steel, and that's what brings the price up. But the quality, the fit, the finish, the usage, the feel, the whole thing between a Wee and a Civivi, and even the Sencut, which is the lowest level of them, is what and what. They're all good knives. The difference is the materials that they're made out of. And so I'm wondering if the Spyderco is kind of in that same category and class. So you guys tell me, comment and tell me. I like it. I do. I give it 2 thumbs up. For me, the clip, and it doesn't dig into my hand. How it's kind of crowds my hand. It's not so bad when I'm holding it like this right here, because I'm actually over that hump there. So this is a plus. I like the knife. I think it's great, and I would love to have the real thing. I really would. I'll never have it, but I would like to. I would like to have a real Benchmade bug out or a 940, just to have it, to do a real comparison between, because all I've got is clones on stuff like that, and all I'm going to ever have is clones on Spydercos. But this feels great, looks great, handles great, and it's functioning better and better as I work it. So I can only imagine the real thing being a massive upgrade from this, which has already got my blood pumping just on this particular clone at that. And so the real thing would probably push me over the edge, and I'd have a heart attack and I'd die, and y'all have to give money to my wife to support her so she can continue eating and have a roof over her head. So you don't want me to have a real one. All right. So like I said, I had to come back in and do an update on this, because fiddling with a knife, I like it. I really do. That's the thing with me. These blades, when I first see them, I'm like, I don't know. But then when I start playing with it and feeling it and using it, especially when I got a little weight to a knife, I hate a feather-light weight knife. I like weight to it. But when I start playing with it and fondling it and all that kind of stuff, hey, look, listen, stop. When I start touching it, then that blade just starts to grow on me, especially when it is a flat grind like that. I like it. I like it a lot. So this is the end of this video for this Spyderco Para 2 clone. I thank you. I appreciate you. I enjoy spending time with you, and I will see you next time. Your time is very important to me, and I thank you for spending it here with me. Thanks, and God bless.